Hello, hello. I think I got my microphone working. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if everything sounds all good. I was about to put my AirPods on because it wasn't recognizing it. But give me a thumbs up and then we'll get started. So, apologies for that little technical difficulty. Don't you love it? Trying to do things live and then things mess up. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. All right, welcome. I'm glad to see we got a few people tuning in and chatting along with me. We got Sharon and Julia and Romy. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the ABCs of Packing Light. All right, so obviously, if you're here and you're tuning in, you can chat along with us live. So feel free to, type something, say hello into the chat box. And if you're tuning in later, leave me a comment on this video and let me know because I love to know who stopped by. My name is Brooke and I am the founder of Her Packing List, a site that helps women to pack smarter, pack lighter, and travel confidently. The ABCs of Packing Light, if you're new here, each week I choose a different word from the next letter of the alphabet and we talk about it in terms of packing light, okay? We are on episode P. So we've gone through a lot of episodes, a lot of talking about packing light, and I love it. And I love that you are here for it as well. Okay, today's word is for anyone and everyone on a packing light journey, okay? Even people who have taken my ultralight packing course, this word is for you as well, okay? Today's word for episode P is practice, right? The word for today, for episode P, is practice. Your word is practice. All right. Now, the reason I have chosen practice for this is because to pack light and to do it well takes a lot of work and practice, lots of practice. It is a skill that you are learning after all, okay? And like any new skill, you don't just perfect it immediately. It doesn't just happen. You don't just do it and you have everything figured out, okay? It takes practice. So I would love to know, how was your first go at packing light? Like the first time that you made a big change. Like how did it go? How did you feel about it? Let me know. I'd love to know, if you've done something already, if you're someone who has made a change, how was your first go? Was it perfect? Was it a success? Were there challenges? How did it go? Let me know in the chat. For all you lovely people who are tuning in with me live, let me know. And if you're tuning in later, let me know in the comments. I do check those. I'd love to see your thoughts, see your process. Okay. Now, for a lot of people, they find that it's a long process, right? It is a journey. And I always talk about packing light in terms of it being a journey because it really is. Yes, so don't just expect perfection right away. Sharon says it was a big difference to how I had previously packed. I knew there was still room for improvement. So you made a big shift, but you knew that you didn't go as far as you wanted or could go, right? Because you needed to practice. You needed more experience, You need that real world experience, all right? So I'm going to be honest with you all. If you are here to start packing lighter, the first time or even the first several times you head out on a trip, packing in that much smaller bag will probably be a little messy. Okay, even if you've taken my ultralight packing course, Handbag Packing Masterclass, HPM, even if you've taken that, it'll probably still be a little messy on your first couple of goes, all right? You probably won't know yet how it all works for you in a real life situation until you head out in that real life situation. You might not know how much of your toiletries you actually need. You might not have figured out the ideal or optimal travel wardrobe pieces just yet, and that is okay. It all takes practice. Okay, now luckily, if you have taken my ultralight packing course, you kind of get that practice in. Now, you do get that practice in by doing the course. All right, that is like your big kick in the butt practice session. All right, so you're going to get further than you would have if you were doing this on your own, for sure. My packing light journey to get to the point where I traveled in a messenger bag, a 12-liter like handbag, it took me like 8 years. Okay, that process was like 8 years of travel to get me to that point. All right, so if you take handbag packing masterclass, you can get there in a month. So remember that. All right, Romy says, I just came back from a trip and loved having less cosmetics. I also realized that I did need as many clothes as I thought. Did need or didn't need? Yeah. So, and you got to practice those things to know what is really important for you, right? It all takes practice. So I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that if you are feeling a bit frustrated with your progress or with your performance out there on the road, don't give up, okay? And definitely don't expect perfection. Don't expect perfection. Expect that it will be messy for you the first couple of trips. Give yourself the ability to have a less than perfect experience so that you can practice. That's how you get to perfect, right? That's how you get to perfect. Practice leads to perfect. Practice. You have to practice. You have to give yourself the ability to practice. And that means setting off and traveling and taking that trip feeling like it is less than perfect. Okay, you have to do that first before you can get to perfect, okay? Now, one main benefit of looking at it as practice is that it takes a lot of that pressure off of you to be perfect, right? It means you can stress a little less. It's just practice. You're setting off on this light packed trip for the first time and you're worried, but at the same time, it's like, well, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's practice. It's a learning situation for me, right? It doesn't have to be that big final perfect experience because you're not there yet, but you will be with practice. All right, so remember that. Okay, let's talk more about those benefits of practice. All right, practice, it takes that pressure off of you to be perfect, and it also builds confidence, right? You may not have confidence in your light packing skills just yet, and that's really common to feel that anxiety about doing this new hard thing. But practice is how you build that confidence. Okay, you have to take that trip. You have to pack light and you have to actually leave so that you can start to build more confidence. All right. And when you're actually out there on the road and you're successfully overcoming those challenges and you realize that what you feared didn't happen, or wasn't as big of an issue as you worried that it would be, you'll have more confidence for your next trip. And Romy did share that she realized that she didn't need as many clothes as she thought, and that's a big one. That's a big one. Also, it is just a relief not having a suitcase. Yes. We often don't realize how much stress that extra luggage is putting on our travel experience until we can travel without it. It's amazing. Okay, more about practice, okay? Practice encourages creativity and problem solving, which I talk about a lot here. You probably are thinking, Brooke, you're kind of a broken record, but it's true. Practice creates those opportunities for things to go wrong, and that gives us a chance to creatively solve those problems, and that expands our skill set. When we have been doing this for a while and we know how to get ourselves through different types of situations with less stuff on us, we are building our skill set for packing light. And that comes with practice. Okay, it's like when you're hiring a lawyer, you want them to have a lot of experience. Or if you're having surgery, you hope that your doctor has had lots of practice. They've had to deal with more situations. They're more practiced. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Practice helps us know what we're capable of. So again, it expands our skill set. But if we practice doing something in a certain way, then we know what we're capable of. So if you practice packing in a handbag, you take my packing class, you learn how to pack super ultra light for a 1-week trip, then you know that it's possible for you to pack that light. So even if you don't travel that way most of the time, you know that you will be okay. Like if you pack in a bag that's bigger than the personal item, you know that you're going to be okay because, hey, you've actually practiced packing in a much, much smaller bag. So you know what you're capable of. And then when you practice overcoming all those challenges and you know that you're going to be okay, it just lets you know that you are a strong, strong person who can deal with a lot of different situations and be totally fine. And that's cool. In that same note, on that same line of thinking, it builds your resilience. All right. So you're probably going to experience some bumps on the road. There's going to be some situations that require a little bit more attention on the road. But knowing that you were able to overcome these issues, it builds your resilience. And that is really awesome. Okay. So those are the benefits of practice. And everything takes practice. It just like when we learned how to drive a car or ride a bike or even type on a computer. It all took practice to get to the level that you are at now. You didn't start off riding your bike no-handed down the street until you took off your training wheels and had dozens of hours of practice. Right? You needed all of that practice, and packing is no different. You probably aren't going to nail it the very first time, and that is totally fine, totally expected. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we're going to talk about today. All right. Now we're going to cover 6 tips for practicing. All right. So when you are practicing your packing light skills, or when you're practicing packing light or traveling with that lighter packed bag, you really want to do these 6 things. Okay. So you want to cultivate a learning mindset. You want to see each time you practice as a way to gather data. Okay. I know it's a little bit different. You're just packing a bag for a trip, but really, if you look at it from more of a scientific standpoint, it helps to separate that emotion from what you are doing. It helps to alleviate some of that stress and worry. So when you can say to yourself, well, this is me practicing my packing light. This is me gathering data so that I can improve my skills over time. And that helps you to just feel a little bit less anxiety. Okay. And then take notes when you're actually doing it. Make sure you take notes. What things did you miss having? How did you deal with that situation? When you get home from a trip, really write down things that went unused, things that you used more than you thought you would, that sort of thing. So keep notes and look at it as a learning experience. And then your practice will help you to get to perfect over time. You also want to practice with small stakes, okay? If this helps you, just do an overnight trip with a super tiny bag. Do a weekend trip, not very far away from home, with that teeny tiny bag, because you're going to feel, less stress and anxiety at the end of the day, really. If you're not very far from home, it's like, what's the worst that could happen? We could just drive home, So then you can actually go off on these trips and actually practice your light packing skills. So start small as well. It kind of goes hand in hand with this. You can start with small stakes, but then you can start small by, minimizing your bag one size smaller. and seeing how you go. You can remove 1 or 2 shirts this trip, and then maybe the next time you can remove another shirt and see how you go with fewer. Okay, so you can take smaller steps and work your way down. Or you can take my packing class and you can just jump past all those steps and just go super small. All right. You want to celebrate your accomplishments as well. So if you were able to go away on that weekend trip with a personal item bag, like celebrate that. If it was an overnight trip and you went away with just that personal item, really take the time to celebrate what you've been able to achieve, because chances are this is something that you have probably struggled with for a very long time. It's like we have spent our entire lives thinking about our stuff. And when we're traveling, especially, we've thought that we needed to have so much stuff with us. And that's what we've been practicing. We have been practicing packing heavy, not packing light. Okay, so you really need to celebrate your achievements so that you can see that you are making progress. So even if you're not as far along as you want to be, knowing that you're on the right path is super important, and you have to celebrate all of those tiny wins. And you have to be patient with yourselves because, like I just said, we have spent many, many, many years packing heavy. We have been cultivating those skills. And now we're trying to learn new skills and break those old habits. And that is not easy. That is not easy. I know it sounds like it should be easy, but it's really not when you think about breaking habits and what it takes to break habits. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. Yes. And then finally, with practice, you want to think about getting help. All right. Just like a good coach can help you to improve your golf game, your tennis game faster than you would if you were doing it on your own, getting help from a packing coach like yours truly, or a community of people that are doing the thing, that you want to do, will save you tons of time. Okay. So you want to surround yourself with people who lift your game. You want to surround yourself with people who are doing the thing that you want to do. So I would recommend taking HPM, and then you get access to our awesome community of travelers who are also super savvy light packers. All right, so there are right there 6 tips for practicing your light packing skills, okay? 6 tips to think about to integrate into your packing light practice. Yeah, that's better. All right, let's see what's happening in the chat. Romy says, I have a 10-day trip coming up and will work on my toiletry kit. There you go. And then you can practice traveling with less on the next trip and see it as practice. Sharon, I have practice runs with toiletries when going to the pool. Perfect. Yes. So that will help you to understand things that you need when you are away from home in terms of toiletries. Perfect. And then Romy says, we need to change our what if attitude. Oh, yes. 100% yes. The what if attitude, the what if thoughts. Yes, for sure. Always important. In practice, making change and then practicing that will help you to overcome those what if worries and thoughts. Okay. All right. So remember this, ladies and gents, if you are tuning in as well, packing light and doing it well takes practice. It does. It takes practice. So if you go and you've packed light and it isn't so great the first time or the second time, the important thing is that you had the courage to do something that was hard. Okay? Seriously, give yourself a round of applause if you have done the thing. Okay? That is the most important achievement. That is it. You have to have the courage to do something new, hard, and different when you haven't practiced yet. Because only then can you practice and work your way towards being great. You have to have the courage to try the new thing in order to practice and get better. Okay, so remember that the courage is the most important part of this whole process so that you can practice. All right. Okay, that's going to do it for me today. And that is episode P of the ABCs of Packing Light. Our word today is practice. If you like what you heard, if it resonated with you, please like this video and leave me a comment letting me know. And be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place for episode Q. All right, once again, I'm Brooke from Her Packing List, and I want you to reach your packing light goals. Be sure to check out herpackinglist.com for more great packing tips and advice. And if you love the spooky season as much as I do, if you are loving this time of year, it is October, you might want to get on my list for the 13 days of travel frights. Okay, so you can go to herpackinglist.com/frights, and every day for 13 days you will get one email that talks about travel and packing with a frightful twist. All right, so I love this time of year, so I thought I would do something fun with it. All right, friends, take care and have a lovely evening or a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in.